becoming a risk. Every unanswered question felt heavier. Every delay felt like something slipping away. Fans described this mindset as protective urgency, the kind that pushes people to act even when action could cause pain. On the other side, Erica's stance was increasingly framed as survival rather than strategy. Supporters are not trying to win anything, only to hold her life together under impossible scrutiny. They point to being interpreted as evidence, even when it could be explained by exhaustion or caution. In that framing, her resistance was not defiance but self-preservation. And that perspective resonated with viewers who saw the situation through the lens of personal experience rather than spectacle. As emotions ran high, the idea of compromise became both desirable and unlikely. Fans talked about middle ground, about agreements that could satisfy everyone, but in the same breath, they admitted how hard that would be. When fear drives decisions, flexibility feels dangerous. People online noted that both sides seemed to be acting from fear, just different kinds. Fear of losing access versus fear of losing autonomy. Fear of instability versus fear of control. Those fears mirror. Relationships do not exist in a vacuum when millions of people are watching. The weight of commentary, judgment, and speculation can harden feelings before anyone even sits down to talk. Viewers began to wonder whether the damage was already done simply by the story existing at this scale. In many retellings, the grandparents are described as reaching a point of emotional clarity, not relief, but certainty. Fans say they are portrayed as people who decided they could live with being misunderstood, but not with regret. That framing is powerful because it paints action as a moral necessity rather than a desire for control. Whether people agreed with it or not, they understood it. Understanding, again, does not equal approval, but it makes outrage quieter and concern louder. Erica's portrayal also sharpened in this phase of the narrative. She was increasingly described as someone who felt surrounded, judged not only by strangers but by family expectations. Fans imagined how isolating that must feel, especially when grief has already stripped away normalcy. They argue that constant questioning can feel like an attack, even when it is framed as care. This interpretation added depth to her resistance, making it feel less stubborn and more human. As the speculation reached its peak, some fans began calling for restraint. They reminded others that nothing official had been shown, that rumors are not reality. But those voices struggled to slow the momentum. Once a story taps into shared anxieties about family, loss, and children, logic often takes a backseat. The audience had already emotionally invested, and investment demands continuation. The idea that children were absorbing this tension, even indirectly, remained. Every delay was framed as another day of uncertainty. Whether fair or not, that framing pushed many viewers towards supporting decisive action, simply because indecision felt cruel. As all these interpretations collided, the narrative settled into something heavier than gossip. It became a story about boundaries, fear, and the limits of patience. Fans no longer asked who was right. They asked who would move first. That shift marked the final stage of the rumor cycle. Once people start expecting movement, even stillness becomes suspicious. The family, as portrayed in these online discussions, was left divided in a way that felt structural rather than emotional. Not just hurt feelings, but different worldviews. One side prioritizing certainty through structure, the other prioritizing autonomy through distance. Both claiming love, both claiming protection, and both feeling misunderstood. This symmetry made the situation tragic rather than scandalous, which is why it angered. By this point, many viewers accepted that even if nothing formal happened, things would not return to how they were before. Relationships change when trust erodes, regardless of outcomes. Fans spoke about permanent shifts, about scars that remain even after agreements are reached. That acceptance added a somber tone to the conversation. What keeps this story alive is not confirmation, but relatability. People see their own family conflicts reflected in it, magnified by visibility. They recognize
it started quietly, almost too quietly. The kind of silence that makes people uneasy before anything is even said out loud. Fans were scrolling, reacting.